It is John Castaneda, or Sexi Mexi if you like. He's set to return on June 3rd in Las Vegas against Mateus Mendonca. John, I know it's been 8 months since you've had a chance to compete. You're just a little bit of time out now. Give me the feel as you're getting ready to get back in there.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. It's been a long time for sure, but a lot has happened in those 8 months. So yeah, like you said, we're 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away, but we're the most prepared we've ever been. Leading up to that last fight, I was trying to juggle a little bit too many things at once in life. I was working full time, 45 hours a week. I was training full time, 35 plus hours a week. So between those two things, I had very little sleep, very little recovery. I found it that I was always injured, always hurt, always sick. So this camp after that last fight actually was a good little wake up moment, and we're no longer working. We're just training full time. You know what I mean? So training full time, recovering, sleeping, doing everything we need to do to kind of climb the ranks in the sport.
Incredible, man. That's really betting on yourself, I guess. How difficult was that decision to make, right? I mean, I know it's difficult to walk away from, I guess, the security of that income coming in to focus full time on fighting. Was it the $50,000 that helped make that decision possible, or how did that process come about?
I'm not going to lie, the 50,000 definitely helped, but I've just always been a very frugal person. I'm not flashy by any means. I'm in my Honda right now, 2018 Honda. I'm not a flashy guy by any means. I still have, I still wear clothes from like college days. So I've been able to save up money for these last like 5-6 years while working at my job. And, it was like you said, yeah, it's kind of having that sense of security or not really a security, but the, having the two incomes one from the UFC and one from the full-time job, it was great. And I think that's what kind of made me hang on to it for so long through that first UFC contract. But after I lost that last fight, especially with how I lost it, I found out the very next day after my fight, because I couldn't catch my breath and my lungs were just on fire, that I had a upper respiratory infection. And then if you rewind it, three weeks prior to my last fight, I had strep throat. So I had a strep throat infection. I was like, why am I always sick? Well, it's because I'm up late night. I was up late night all the way up until like 4 a.m. at my job, and then trying to sleep, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours at max, and then trying to perform at a high level inside the training room. It wasn't a good mix. And so after that last fight, it wasn't a hard decision at all, walking away from the job and fully committing myself to the sport, especially after getting a brand new contract. So we're remotivated and refocused on this for sure.
That's awesome, man. First of all, a good life lesson for people out there. Being financially responsible allows you to have some flexibility to make decisions like that. So your years of discipline kind of paid off in this. So you mentioned that new contract. Talk to me about that feeling, because I've got to imagine that second UFC deal makes you feel like you belong, right? It's one thing to get in there. It's one thing to get the contract. But when they come back to you and they say, hey, we want more of your services, that's got to help you breathe easy and feel like, hey, I belong here.
For sure. That's what I was actually just talking to my mom and my coaches about, actually. So with the UFC, it's not easy getting the job by any means, but it's the easier part. Once you're in the UFC, that's the easy part. Keeping your job is the hard part. So yeah, once I got that second contract, I was actually, so I had that fight in, what was it? October. And then I left my job in November. I actually went to Thailand to train for about 3 months. And while I was there is actually when I got the notice from my manager that I was getting re-signed. So I kind of like, I was never told that I wasn't getting re-signed, but I was never told that I was either. So I was kind of always in like this, all right, man, whatever happens. I'm going to train hard regardless. I'm refocused on the sport. Like, let's go. And I got the call while I was out there. So it was very, very motivating too. It was like within the first 2 weeks that I was there. So then I just, for the next 3 months, I just fully immersed myself in training and kind of like rewiring my brain that this is now my full-time thing. No more work, no more late nights, no more trying to balance two full-time things. I'm just a full-time MMA fighter. So.
Wow. I respect that decision even more then. So you made the decision to walk away from the job even while you technically didn't have a contract with the UFC. So there was no guarantee that was coming in. I respect that even more, man. That had to be very scary.
Absolutely. Super scary. But, when you have a good management team like Jason House with Iridium Sports and all the guys that back you up, regardless of whether I was going to get re-signed or not, my main focus was I love fighting, and I'm not done fighting for a long time. So whether I'm in the UFC or whether I'm in another high level promotion, I'm fighting, and I'm getting my money regardless. So when I got the call, though, for sure, it was that's where I want to be. That's where I belong, and that's where I'm going to put on the best performances. Absolutely.
That's phenomenal. Talk to me about that training in Thailand, man. That's a trip that I've never been able to make. I need to get over there and see it. But man, it just seems like such an incredible environment for fighters. What did you take out of those months over there?
Absolutely. So I was actually doing a little bit of training over at Bang Tao, Muay Thai, and MMA. Man, let me just start with the coaches. The Hickman brothers, George and Frank, they're absolutely top notch, man. Like the style of MMA is more so like a modern new style of MMA. They work with Volkanovski, they work with Izzy Adesanya, they work with all those guys over there. And then I got, the jiu-jitsu coach over there, Alex Shields, and the strength coach, Woody. Like the whole team of coaches over there is just one big family, and they're really like looking out for your best interests. But that's not really like the rare part, like I have coaches here in Minnesota that care about me just as much. It's the whole atmosphere over there that they've created and they've built. So they left Tiger Muay Thai is from what I understand, and they started this brand new culture, and it's very, very like ego-less. Like there's no ego in that gym, and they make it pretty well known. Like if you bring a little bit of ego in that gym, you're out. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a UFC star. It doesn't matter if you're a young up and comer. You bring any ego to this gym, you're out. So they've really built a really good family community gym over there. And it's not only training for your full-time athletes who are training to obviously, excel and get to that next level, but it's also for your young up and comer, or you just, your intro to MMA. They offer everything over there. So it was a really good blessing for me. The biggest thing that I took from it, like I said, I left my full-time job late last year, and then I was just like, I need to go change my mentality, change my brain, how it works. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I took from it. So I was able to go there and fully immerse myself with 6 to 7 hours of training every single day, five to 6 days a week, and kind of like rewire how I used to be prior to having a full-time job, because there was obviously a point where I was just on the grind. I graduated college. I said, Mom, sorry, I'm not working full time. I'm going to go pursue MMA. And that's the mindset that I had, the train. I'm going to make it one day. And that's the mindset that I have now again, so I it's not more so I'm going to make it, but more so I got to keep my job, and I got to, this is my passion, and to be good at your passion, you have to put in the time. And so, kind of rewiring the brain is the biggest thing that I took from that trip over there.
That's pretty incredible. Well, listen, man, knowing that you've had this much time to prepare, that you haven't had a full-time job, I mean, I imagine we're going to see some big leaps forward in your game when we see you on June 3rd. Talk to me about the matchup that you have with Mateus Mendonca as an opponent. I mean, are you the breakdown tape kind of guy, the scout kind of guy? Do you let others do that? What do you think about him as an opponent?
No, we've obviously been dissecting his style. He's everybody from that shootbox gym is very, very similar style. Especially, I think because I just fought Daniel Santos, one of his main training partners. I think that they feel like they got me figured out, but little do they know I was literally fighting with an upper respiratory infection. And I had Santos so hurt in that first round, and I couldn't finish it. I couldn't push the pace. My body just wouldn't let me. And, I think that that's going to be an advantage for me. I think they think they're going to come and push the pace on me, but I'm a cardio machine right now. I feel like you said, I am like on the next level, John 2.0, I've been calling it, so, I feel really good about the matchup. I think stylistically, he's similar to Santos. And like I said, a lot of those guys from the gym, in your face, kind of strong starters. But I think him, unlike Santos, kind of fades throughout the fight, where Santos was kind of picking it up towards the end. You know what I mean? So, like I said, obviously everyone's getting different from every previous fight. So I'm sure he's made corrections to his game, but the guy he's studying and the guy he's prepared for is a completely different guy than the guy who I'm with. So
that's phenomenal. Well, it's exciting. It's June 3rd. It's the start of a new UFC contract. It's the start of a new stage of your career, man. All in on it. I guess talk to me. I'm assuming you're probably not looking far past this. I mean, you want to go have a performance, but now that you're all in, is it like, hey, we need to be fighting more frequently than every 8 months, or is it, we'll take the time? What's the plan, with a big win here?
No, that's the thing. See, the thing with being that's the the best thing about being a full-time athlete is that I think right now I'm 4 fights in the UFC. If I was full-time before, I'd probably be like 7 fights deep, 8 fights deep at least. The reason I say that is because I've been offered so many fights within anywhere from 2 to 5 weeks notice. And the previous John 1.0, you know, he can't take those fights because he's walking around at 165, sometimes up to 175. You know what I mean? He's in the gym consistently. That John, he's in the gym consistently. He's working all the time, but he's walking heavy. The difference with me now is that I'm lean. You know, I ever since I got back from Thailand, I haven't, you know, I've been anywhere from 155 to 158. So getting those short notice fights are going to be a lot more likely for me now that I'm walking around a lot leaner and a lot healthier. So that's going to be the biggest thing, being a full-time athlete now.
I love it. Well, man, John, congratulations on all the success you're having and the commitment that you're making. I look forward to seeing your performance on June 3rd. Like I said, we could be seeing an entirely different athlete. Knowing that you fought like that last time with an upper respiratory infection, that's incredible. So I'm excited for June 3rd and wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you in Las Vegas.
I appreciate you, brother. I'll see you June 3rd.